Welcome to East Tennessee in the springtime, where the flowers are starting to bud, the grass is turning green, flowers are blooming, the weather's mild and lovely, and allergies are wreaking havoc. Here in East Tennessee where we live, this is the #1 worst place for allergies in the United States. Everybody that's taking care of children or adults becomes a mini expert in seasonal allergies. So what are seasonal allergies? Well, plants, trees, molds put off spores and pollen in their normal reproductive cycle. As humans, we can sometimes become sensitized to those spores and pollens, and it leads to an allergic reaction. This is your classic symptoms where you're going to have watery nose, watery eyes, itching eyes and nose, congestion, headache, sneezing, cough, and just feel awful. So, how do we describe allergies? Well, I like to describe allergies as being a tree that has two major branches. On one side, we have the histamine side. On the other, we have the inflammatory. The histamine side is what's really easily visible with allergies. Things like that watery eyes and nose, the itching, the sneezing, the cough, that's from the histamine side. Now, those are going to be the things that you're going to use your classic antihistamines for. Things like Benadryl, Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra. Now on the other side, the inflammatory side, that's what's going to cause swelling. It's going to lead to your headache, your congestion, the dark circles under your eyes. Now your antihistamines aren't going to help much with this. This is when we're going to use your nasal steroids to try and reduce that inflammation. They also have the added benefit of they wrap around the cells that contain histamine and prevent them from exploding when you're exposed to something you're allergic to. Thus, they're actually preventing some of the histamine response of allergies as well. So you get a little bit more bang for your buck. These are going to include things like Nasonex, Flonase, Nasacort, and a host of other intranasal steroids that can be either found over the counter or prescribed by your physician. Now, when you start to have symptoms that are making you think of allergies, definitely call your pediatrician and ask what they'd recommend and if you think that this truly is allergies. Now, how do you tell the difference between allergies and a common cold? Well, part of it's the season. Once you develop allergies and become sensitized to a certain pollen or mold spore, you're going to have that same symptom every year. And in fact, for the first several years, it may actually get worse with each coming year. The other thing is we're going to see these seasonal allergies in the spring and the fall. Typically seasons where colds are going to start falling in the amount of times that we see them. If you see a fever at the onset, it's probably not allergies. It's probably going to be a common cold. Now, a common question that we get is, when do we need to see the allergist? Well, at least here in Tennessee and in most places, if you have seasonal allergies, you're allergic to lots of things, not just one. And it's not like you can really keep yourself from being exposed to a dogwood tree. They're everywhere. So I tell my patients that when you're so miserable that you know you have allergies and you've tried all the medicines that are available and you still feel awful, and you feel that it's worthwhile that you would be willing to get a shot every week and commit to a 4-year commitment of getting shots to prevent those symptoms, then it's time to go see the allergist. Because really, when we're getting tested for allergies, it's really to decide what needs to go in your allergy shot to help with your symptoms. So, the biggest thing with allergies is know that there's some things that we can do to help you, to help your kids enjoy the wonderful springtime and the great outdoors. Allergies are in. This will not be a one-take wonder. Okay.
Was this that one take?
This was not that one. Okay. Let's do that again. Okay. All those things try to competitively inhibit from the antihistamine side.